you should do it.
Are you crazy?
He probably knows I flipped by now. I won't be able to get near any of them.
So it's true. Columbo's first. You're next.
I tried.
Godfather of Harlem, episode 10. Okay, I didn't expect Pettigrew. I just thought, you know what? I actually thought Pettigrew was just going along with the plan. Maybe Bumpy Johnson had like a secret plan and he didn't tell everybody. He was just like, all right, maybe Pettigrew goes underneath. Pettigrew kills Joe, and that's it. And I thought that was the plan. But he literally went along with the plan. He was just like, no, I'm with you, Joe. And then he was talking to him in the beginning. He was like, I'm all in. You shouldn't trust Stella. And then that's when, like in the beginning, when they was at the diner and Bumpy was with the family, and that's when Joe spotted. No, that's when Frank spotted one of Joe's guys. And he's like, wait, that's no cop. And that's when he shoots Delia, but Delia makes it out unharmed. I mean, she takes a bullet, but she survives. And that's when like Bumpy Johnson is pissed off. He like, nah, Joe must die. I just couldn't believe it. I was like, Pettigrew, no! I thought he was gonna be like, remaining loyal to Bumpy. But yo, season 5 is Pettigrew's done. He's like, I feel like Bumpy might forgive him, but then again, it's like, I don't know. I think he will. Because here's the thing. Because Bumpy, he's known Bumpy for years. So I feel like Bumpy is going to forgive Pettigrew. But then at the same time, I feel like he might not forgive him because he went after his family. Like, he was with Joe on the plan to kill him. But then if it wasn't for Delia, Bumpy would have died. So I'm like, oh, man. I think, I don't know, because I think season 5 have to be it. In my opinion, I think this is how they wrap it up, because at the ending was perfect, because you see like Malcolm X, and I just love what they did, and it was perfect because he's at the end, and you see like Bonanno and I was gonna say Lucy, Stella, but Bonanno and Stella. Like they was at the end, they was with Bumpy, and that's when Bonanno says, well, you have the family's like permission and blessing, but in return, we need you to sell Doogie back in Harlem. And that's when he sees Malcolm, and he's like, I tried, because he was trying to be a good man. He was trying to do things differently. He didn't want to do selling Doogie, because remember in the last season, like that painter had like the drawing of Bumpy Johnson was an angel and he was a devil, because yes, he's helping Harlem, but at the same time, he's hurting Harlem by selling Doogie to his own people that's harming the community and his people. So, and I just loved it. Like, oh God, that shit was good. Damn it, that shit was good. But we've seen some mischief play where you had Joe talk to Pino, and he tells him, he's like, well, I can promise I can make you the head of the Genevieve family if you kill Stella. But then he shows up and he's like, well, because he was going to kill Stella. But that's when you had Bumpy tell Frank, because he was like, I got a plan for you. Because Bumpy laid out the plan. He said, I want Chance to go over to the rally, because this whole story was about, the Italians and fighting against like scrutiny and all this nonsense or whatever, that how they being treated in America and all this nonsense, right? So that's when Joe's trying to have that all set up, and that's when you had Bumpy say, well, all right, Chance is going to basically, take out Joe while Frank is going to save Stella. And little behold, he did, because Pino went along with Joe's offer, because Pino was like, I don't kill women. But then that's when Joe was getting in his head. He was just like, well, are you going to still take orders from a woman? Are you going to still go along with this nonsense? Or are you going to take her out? And then that's when Pino was like, well, fuck it, Joe's right. I'm gonna take her out, and I could just say, hey, she was going through some shit and she killed herself, right? But that's when you seen at the end, Frank saves her, puts a bullet in Pino. That's it. And then that's when you have the rally where Jerome takes the gun, because he and Margaret have like this discussion, because he's like, well, it was Joe that shot his mother, or had his mother get shot, so he wanted to do something about it. So that's when Margaret gets the keys, and then that's when he gets the gun and then he goes over to the rally and then he shoots Joe. And but see, the way at the ending, it seems like maybe Joe might have survived, or maybe I don't know, because it seemed like maybe, I mean, I don't know, maybe he survived, or they're trying to set it up in season 5. That's when Bumpy finishes him off, or is he like dead? I don't know, because he did get shot. So I'm like, I don't know if they setting it up for like Bumpy to finish him off in season 5, or he's just dead, or that was just like the plan. Like, okay, he's dead, but the agreement is Bumpy has to sell Doogie in Harlem because he burnt down his own nightclub. Because the plan was simple. Okay, we get Joe at the St. Clair's place at the spot, and we basically get Joe right there. But then that's when you had Pettigrew telling him, he like, I don't think you should really trust Stella. Maybe you should just send your men there and see what happens. That's when he's all right, because they fucked up the first job on trying to take out Bumpy at the diner. So it's like, all right, he goes along with Pettigrew's idea. And that's when he sends his best guys over there, and you had Chance and Frank take them out. Then that's when they got to the last guy, and that's when Bumpy set this dude on fire. He was like, that's what you get. Trying to have my family killed. You die. And then he set him on fire, and the whole place of St. Clair, poof, up in flames, right? So I'm like, oh shit. And that's when, Joe blows the gas, and Joe gets upset, and he's like, he looks at Pettigrew, he's like, all right, you was right. You was right about the whole Stella thing. And that's where he convinces Pino, has Pino get called up. Pino comes over there, and that's where he convinced him to take out Stella. And we all know how that went. It failed. So, oh my God. All right, this episode, man, this shit was good, man. This shit was good, man. Oh, I loved it. Damn it, I love it. It was good. Now, though, there was a couple of things that, there was a few things I will say that, okay, because they didn't get to the part of who put the hit out on Frank. I guess we're going to probably wait till like season 5 for that, right? Because, like, hey, now, what happened to that part where, hey, somebody was coming for Frank? Like, what happened, right? So they didn't get to that part. We didn't see Chin. I thought we was going to see Chin, but we didn't see Chin. We might see Chin in the next season, right? I'm thinking season 5 probably might be the last, in my opinion, because I thought the FBI was going to get involved here, because remember, Joe had some of his guys kidnap one of the dude's daughter, and, well, not kidnap, but bring the daughter over to the house or whatever. So I thought that the FBI might have gotten involved, but they didn't. So maybe in the next season they probably will get involved. They might probably have more of a stronger presence, as I thought they probably will, because in the actual story, Chin Gigante was still pretending like he had like a mental illness, like he was sick, because he would have these like robes on, I guess like these piss stained robes on, and he was pretending like he was a crazy guy back in, I think in season, 2 or 3. I think maybe season 2 or 3, I think, when he was pretending like he was a crazy guy, like in the actual story of Chin Gigante, of him pretending he was actually a crazy guy. He was walking around. He was like, oh, hey, he was tricking people. See how gullible it was back in the days when you had the gullible FBI of just a guy pretending he was crazy, and they said, whoa, fuck it, I guess he is crazy, and they fucking believed this shit. And till eventually they got Chin Gigante. So I wonder in season 5 how all of this is going to play out. Like, is it going to be like all of the families is going to get hit like one by one? I know like years later, some of the like key members do get like arrested, but I wonder, is this going to be like the downfall? Because I'm thinking maybe season 5 might be the last. I could be wrong. I'm gonna have to do my checking, but I might be wrong. But if season 5 could be the last, because I mean, you already got Frank Lucas there, so and I'm thinking they're gonna probably do like a transition where it's like, all right, Bumpy's gonna probably still sell Doogie, but then eventually he's gonna teach Frank, and then he's gonna pass, because when you had Elise come over to like Bumpy's place, and she was like, she had tears in her eyes, and she said that she had like this premonition, because she think that Bumpy was gonna die. But he was like, no, I'm not going to die. And all of this stuff that we've gotten in this season was little Easter eggs of what's going to come soon in the show of Bumpy's inevitable death. So it's like, I get what they're doing. I get the little sudden teasers. And man, The Malcolm X bit, man, I tell you. See, when I tell y'all, I'm so pissed that I wish I could go back in time, because I would have went back in time just to save that man. Because it's like the shit that happened, and boy, when I tell you Malcolm X was like a man that was just wise beyond his years, and the shit that he was saying back in the days is still ringing till this day about with current events, and it's like, oh my god, man, Malcolm X, man, rest in peace to that man. But Jesus, yo, I just love what they was doing. I absolutely love what they did here, because it was like Bumpy couldn't escape his fate. Like, he tried to do something different. It was between Joe Colombo, stealing everything from him. And then in the beginning, you had Chin trying to get his hands involved. Like, well, we could go 50-50. And that's when he's like, no, if Chin would have just minded his business and left Bumpy, but then again, it still would have happened anyway, because Joe was greedy and Joe wanted revenge, because he couldn't get to Chin. So he said, fuck it, I'll go for Bumpy. But then, Joe's whole plan was, okay, he has the full control over the family. Stella gets killed off. Bonanno gets killed off. And then eventually he would have went after Chin again. So, but then now all of that basically failed. So now Bumpy is left back to selling Doogie in Harlem. And I guess the fate of Pettigrew. What's going to happen to Pettigrew? Will Bumpy forgive Pettigrew, or will Pettigrew die? Because when Chance was on that roof and he was about to snipe Joe, that's when he seen Pettigrew. So he was like, oh, so it's true. You did betray us. Okay, after I pop Joe, you next. But Pettigrew's in the car. He's driving off somewhere. So I'm like, he could be maybe leaving the city. We don't know exactly what's going to happen to Pettigrew. We don't know. But, man, I don't know. It's either he's getting forgiven, because we know how Bumpy is. Bumpy's a forgiving man, because like he said, when Pettigrew was stealing from him, he forgave him. He forgave Pettigrew. But this time, he sided with Joe to try to take him out in his family. I don't know if Bump gonna forgive that. I just don't know. It was different, slightly different from when Frank kidnapped Chance, and we seen how Bumpy was with Chance. So, but then it was like Malcolm X's ghost that was like, listen, it's the white man that played here. And that's when he not forgave, but he just let Frank go. And we know how that, played out. But it's just, man, yo, I love this episode. This episode was good, man. But season 5, yo, if season 5 is it, and they start to give us the pieces, then I ain't gonna like it, but it is what it is when we get like season 5. I'm like, man, I've been loving this show so far. I've been loving this show, especially with my man Bump and everybody involved. But comment down below what you guys think of this final episode, because this shit was good. I loved it. I just can't wait for the next season. But overall, like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I catch you all in the next one.